For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. Amazon workers in more than 30 countries are going on strike today for Black Friday, a day of mass consumption with price deals to entice shopping. Among the demands, higher wages, union rights for Amazon to pay higher taxes, and reduce the company's carbon footprint. Workers marched in Germany this morning.
Make Amazon pay! Make Amazon pay!
In Bangladesh, Amazon workers are demanding the company sign an agreement on fire and building safety and to provide a minimum wage of $200 a month. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is a multi-billionaire worth upwards of $200 billion, according to some estimates. Similar protests are planned by Amazon staff around the world, including the U.S., Japan, Brazil, and India. While the nation celebrated the holiday known as Thanksgiving yesterday, Thursday, descendants of the First Nations Wampanoag tribe and supporters gathered for the 55th National Day of Mourning in New England, marching to Plymouth Rock. The Wampanoag people first welcomed the first white settlers, the Pilgrims, when they arrived hundreds of years ago.
United American Indians of New England and our supporters are gathered on this hill to observe a national day of mourning for the indigenous people murdered by settler colonialism and imperialism worldwide. Today marks the 55th time we have gathered here to mourn our ancestors, tear down settler mythologies, and speak truth to power.
While the Wampanoag did help the Pilgrims, what's often missed in history books is that they were shortly after murdered by the Pilgrims in what began a centuries-long process of genocide of indigenous people in the United States. Israel broke its truce with Hezbollah in Lebanon and carried out its first airstrike yesterday. 2 people were wounded. Israel accused Hezbollah of violating the truce with activity at a rocket storage facility in the south of Lebanon, breaching the ceasefire. But Lebanon state-run media said the wounded were civilians trying to return homes in the south. Lebanese authorities report scattered incidents of Israeli mortar attacks. In Gaza, Israel attacks have killed at least 40 Palestinians in the last 24 hours. Among the attacks, forces shelled the Kamal Adwan hospital premise in the north of Gaza and Beit Lahia, killing the head of the intensive care unit, Dr. Ahmed Ziad al-Khalut. 29 others were killed in the Nuseirat refugee camp, including a strike on an ambulance that was carrying victims of another strike. 10 were killed in Gaza City in overnight attacks. The United Nations spokesperson Farhan Haq has said malnutrition is increasing among Gaza's children. This as at least 3 women died in a stampede at a bakery today in Deir el-Balah. The UN's World Food Program has said it's run out of flour and its bakeries that rely on the support have shuttered.
Of the total number of children admitted for outpatient treatment of acute malnutrition since the beginning of 2024, 2/3 were recorded in the past 5 months. Our nutrition partners report that between the 1st and 23rd of November, more than 3,400 children were admitted for outpatient treatment of acute malnutrition.
The World Health Organization says it's opened up a 5th malnutrition treatment camp in Gaza. One in the north, though, is no longer operational due to Israel's near 2-month blockade. Workers in Ukraine's thermal power plants are repairing damage that's keeping electricity flowing as Russia continues a campaign of attacks targeting the country's power grid. This comes after Russia attacked a Ukrainian city with a ballistic missile that it calls experimental, which led to a United Nations Security Council hearing. Christopher Martinez reports.
Miroslav Jenca, the UN Assistant Secretary for Europe, Central Asia, and the Americas, presented a briefing to the Security Council.
The use of ballistic missiles and related threats are a very dangerous escalatory development. We urge all parties to take immediate steps to de-escalate.
U.S. Ambassador Robert Wood told the Council the United States stands by Ukraine against the Russian invasion, and he promised more military aid.
To help Ukraine protect itself from Russia's escalating and expanding war, the United States is providing Ukraine with hundreds of additional Patriot and AMRAAM missiles to strengthen its air defenses.
Russia's representative dismissed the complaints as Western fear-mongering. He spoke through a translator.
It's interesting what the West is going to come up with next. maybe there's going to be Martians or little green aliens.
He put the blame on Ukraine and its Western allies.
The bankrupt Zelensky regime needs at any cost to drag NATO countries into a direct conflict with Russia on the battlefield. With any other scenario, it would be facing a irreversible and humiliating defeat.
But Ambassador Wood says it's Russian President Vladimir Putin who has chosen to escalate and expand what Wood calls his war of choice.
Suffering more than 1,000 Russian casualties per day, Russia introduced over 10,000 DPRK troops to the battlefield.
We must reverse the dangerous cycle of escalation.
I'm Christopher Martinez.
And I'm Christina Onnested, reporting for Pacifica Radio.